I am recording right now, so I will figure this out. And as I'm going along, it seems like I'm switching back from GoToMeetings all the time to Zooms and whatever. So I had to call in this time, whatever. But it's working. I see a bunch of people on the line. So thank you very much for showing up. I am not Michelle Flainer. I am Rick Sherman, and I am you guys all know who I am because I invited you. Thank you very much for being a part of our selection committee for round 2 for the education grants. I'm excited about this new process because we've done a lot of improvements. So really quick, so I'm sharing my screen. So hopefully you guys can see now I have a Word document up that basically it's the same document that I sent you. Hopefully you can see my screen. Can you guys, can somebody text me that? Yes, okay, thank you. All right, so you can see my screen, great. So here we are. So for those of you who haven't been a part of this before, thank you very much. This, like I said, has been an improved process. I keep saying that, but typically what happens, and I get a lot of questions, number one, am I delaying the process? Am I going to postpone things because of and the answer to that is no, which is awesome. People are still, for the most part, able to work from home and to do the application and send it in. So we're still planning. The application is open. It'll close, I believe, April 10th. People will send them to me. I'll be able to do some pre-scoring. And hang on just a second. So we're going to do some pre-scoring, and I will send out applications to you all. Typically, we give up to about 6 applications to each. I invited more people, but a few people have dropped off because of the virus. They've said, you know, they were laid off or whatever, and they don't have the capacity to work. But not too many. It'll kind of depend. If I get everybody on board, you might get as little as 4 applications, but probably no more than 6. Then again, I don't know how many applications we're going to receive. I'm just kind of going off my gut right now. So what we will do is we'll get everybody, we'll send them out. Hopefully, we'll go through this document, but we'll send them out shortly after April 10th, around the 14th. And you'll have a good 3 weeks to 4 weeks to work on them. Send them back to me. And then I plan on sending you guys an invite to like do a Zoom meeting where we can talk about the applications somewhere around May 4th, 5th, and 6th, hopefully. And if those days won't work, you can reply to the invitation that I give you, and I'll figure out that. We might delay the announcement of the awardees because I want to, make sure I get in contact with everybody to talk about any inconsistencies in scoring. That's where the problems usually happen. Like if somebody scores somebody full points for a certain category and somebody scores the least amount of points, and we kind of zero in on those. If you all are very consistent in your scoring, we won't need to discuss that, but just where the things are inconsistent, we'll have to do that. So what we do, I will assign you a score number and the applications that you get. The score number is kind of the way we keep everything confidential. We protect your identity, which we don't want people to show up on your doorstep, and they would want to do that based on the first round. There were some people that were adamant about receiving the award, and if they have complaints or a beef, they take it up with me and Dustin, my boss, but they're not we don't give them your information. That's one thing we've been able to keep confidential. So there we go. So what we have is, I need to move some things around so I can, there we go. This webinar is happening today. I'm going to post this to a YouTube account, and then I'll email it to you guys. I can't, obviously I'm not going to post it on the website anyway, but I will send it out to the entire group so people can watch it at their leisure. A lot of people weren't able to make this specific call, so that's fine. So we'll do that. I'll update this with the link to see it in a couple hours. And so then what you're going to do, you're going to get this email, and it's going to have a conflict of interest document. You can sign that electronically and send it back to me, you know, or sign it and scan it and send it back, but we'll need to do that. That's a kind of a normal thing. And then we have a score sheet. You use one score sheet for each application. And the neat thing about this time around is we redesigned the score sheet and the application to match exactly. In the past years, you know, we started, my counterpart and I started writing this application over 8 years ago, and it has morphed and changed and continued to change. And it's gotten out of hand that we basically told people to write a book, and then the scoring committee would like try to make sense of heads or tails and figure out how to assign those points. Like you'd write a book and like you guys would try to figure that out. So we fixed that. So now it says basically there's the first section, you answer that section, and then you get this many points in the first section in the score sheet. You go to the second section, you answer that, and you get that many points for the second section of the score sheet. So now everything matches exactly. I spent about a month redesigning this and getting a lot of help from people to revise it. So I'm pretty pleased with how it works. There were a couple questions in there that we took out of the scoring because it created some bias, we found out, and there was really no way to fix that. So we had them answer those questions in another section, but there's no point assigned to them. And I will go through everything and make sure the answers are good and get correct answers before I send them out to you. So it should be good to go. So you'll get a score sheet and an application for each applicant, and then we'll do an application summary that'll tell a little bit about the people and if there's any, like if they're in good standing with Oregon Department of Ed, if they were a past grantee, and if they were, did they spend all their money? Some people did not, so it's like they need to kind of fix those situations before they apply again, so we'll do that. First of all, you'll only get applications of people that qualified. Some people aren't able to qualify because they don't have high enough free and reduced or whatever, but you won't, you'll get a total, I said a total of 6 emails, and I highlighted that. Sometimes I'm able to put everything on one email. Sometimes because of the volume, I have to separate it in different emails. So it's a little bit different, but you'll get all your applications, your summaries, and your score sheet and everything. So you'll get maybe multiple emails, but so yeah, and each applicant they're going to turn in an application. They're going to have a budget and a budget narrative and up to 3 letters of support. Not everybody has turned in a letter of support, and I've had requests to make it mandatory. I still have not done that. That's for a couple reasons, because I've found that sometimes you make it mandatory and people just, you know how it is. You get a template sent to you, people just change the wording and then send in they can send in the same letter of support with just different names on top. So that's not really useful too. Some people do really good jobs, but we limit them to 3, and that's all. Some people send me stuff with pictures and supplemental stuff, and that's not allowed. We just want everything clean and easy to realize, and for you guys to go right to the questions. So it's a lot easier this time. I'm very proud of that. So yeah, and then the pre-selection worksheet will have pertinent information that we'll need to fill in some questions like what's their free and reduced score, if they're a first-time applicant and stuff like that. So everything will make sense once you open up and read the things. Brings me down to recusing. If you have a conflict of interest with any of the applicants we assign you, you just need to call me up or send me an email and say, hey, I can't do these. I have a relationship with these guys. And usually what we'll do is I will trade them out with somebody else. So we just said, please do this really quickly. When I send you them, like quickly look at them and let me know right away. I said, please, before April 16th. I think last year we had people do it after the fact, and it's really hard because the scoring stuff, and so I don't want to take things away and resend them. So it makes it hard on everybody else. But for the most part, I get it right. I usually know folks that have relationships, but sometimes I don't. So just like within the first day, it would be really great if you look at it. But certainly within, by the 16th, is my kind of hard deadline for that. So look and see if you have any applications. And a word about that, everybody has a relationship with somebody. Like here, us at Department of Ed, we work with everybody. So that, some of this stuff is pretty okay to do that. I'm just saying, like, if you have a financial interest, like, for instance, if you are a part of the Oregon Farm to School and School Garden Network and you have a contract with a nonprofit like Growing Gardens, let's say they're a pastorancy, or if you're working with a certain school district, like you have a hard conflict of interest, that would kind of move the needle a little bit more there. But if you have like an overall everybody in our farm to school world, we work with everybody, so it's a little bit more difficult. But I don't know, if you have any questions on that, you can sure send me an email or call me. Okay. So like I said, you'll be assigned a scores number. Don't put your name on the score sheet, but put your scores number at the top. And it says that on their score number, and it says put the name of the applicant. It's a little wonky sometimes to figure out how to put it in there in an Excel score sheet. It's not a clean box. You kind of have to open that box and edit the box to put your name in. But you guys can figure it out. We always do. And if I see something and it's not there, I'll just resave it. But there's that. There's 8 sections to be scored on each application. The last 2 section scores will be provided to you on the pre-selection worksheet. That's the free and reduced score, and if they're a first-time applicant or whatever. Like I said, the score sheet and RFA or application have been redesigned to match up exactly as per suggestions from the last committee. The score sheet has different points that are assigned to each of the 8 sections. Each bullet point has a point value assigned to it. You can assign points to each box based on how you feel the applicant has met the criteria. You can assign partial points if you feel it's necessary, like if they've hit some of the things but not all of them. If you use the score sheet electronically, the score will calculate. That's how we prefer. I don't like to do the handwritten ones because there's always mistakes and they don't calculate. People don't know how to add right, I guess. They haven't in past years. So if you use the score sheet, it's better, and send that in to me electronically. And a note about this, you can award half points, but that's as low as you can go. Have less than a half point. Some people want to say, like, some categories might be 3 points or 5 or 1 point. Some people might say a half point 5 or 1.5, but we don't want to go less than that. That's just the rules. We had some people that did way less, and it caused some problems. So that's the rule for this. And if there is a situation where there's less than half point, I'll have to have a conversation with you, and we'll have to change it. But so there's that. So you can do less than the points if you don't feel they reach the full criteria. There may be a question where the application where the applicant chooses to answer by placing the information on a grid. We found out grids aren't always conducive, for putting neatly formatted answers. So we've allowed applicants to submit a question on a separate Word file so it could be read easily. So we might have that, like question 6 has this, and I want to answer it by putting it on a separate like addendum to, and that'll be attached. That doesn't happen very often, but it seems to work well to explain this question a little better. So you'll score the applications between April 15th and May 1st. That's 2.5 weeks. I think it's a little further. You might get them a little earlier than May 15th. If I get them in on April 10th and I'm able to pre-score them, as soon as I'm ready to do, I'm going to send them out. So you will have a summary worksheet that supports your score for the application. The summary should include positive, negative, overall review and synopsis of the application. And I said in here, please don't be snarky, as applicants will see your comments. So on the score sheet, I will share the score sheets with people, and it has a box in there. If they don't get full points, we expect you to say why they didn't get it. It's like, oh, it says, you expand on the reasons why. And we had a couple scores on the first round that had comments that were a little, like I said, snarky in there. In past years, when folks would ask why they didn't get the grant, I would just kind of try to elaborate, and it's hard for me to remember if there's 50 applications. I just can't do it. I can't get inside your head. So that's why I just give them the score sheet. So there will be the score sheet and this application summary that has your thoughts on there. So just remember to be professional, and everything will be good. So and we'll have an example on there. I'll send you guys with this email that will have an example of the summary and template. So you can see how other people have done this. So yeah, you'll save the files and send the completed score sheets and summaries back to me by May 1st. And then these forms will be used to send back to the applicant, like I said, should they want to see it after the process is done. I will schedule virtual Zoom meetings with you guys, like I said, to sometime between May 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. It shouldn't take longer than 90 minutes, but it's going to be a lot better. Like I said before, we used to go together in one room and stay one whole day or 2 whole days, and you'd be forced to listen about applications that you didn't deal with for hours and hours on end. And now it's just 90 minutes of just talking about your application. We did this change before the virus thing, just because it was just a little bit better system, we thought. So we're pretty happy with that already. We'll see how it goes with trying to coordinate a lot of meetings. It'll be just a lot of meetings with me. So it should work out pretty good. So a couple other things. I know people just, it won't really go into the scoring much, but there's a lot of folks that are concerned about the insurance part of this. It really, again, won't have anything to do with scoring, but I've told people that, the ODE is like, we have new requirements probably that have already been in place, but we have to hold people to have a lot of different insurance, like driving insurance and child molestation insurance. So they know that now before they enter. But if they get into this grant, that's been an issue. I don't even know why I brought it up. It's not really part of the scoring, but looking forward to the process. People right now are still filling out applications and they're sending me lots of questions. I've been sat on a bunch of webinars. I was on one yesterday with a Portland group, just answering questions about the application process. I don't foresee there will be any problems, and this should be a lot smoother. So I really thank you guys for showing up and being part of this process. I'm going to look right now. If you guys have any questions, there's well, somebody couldn't hear me. Melina, could you ever hear me? Dialing in, okay, dial by phone. First of all, I'm recording this, so I'm going to send you the link, and so you guys should be able to hear the audio. Okay. So, okay, getting to some questions. Okay, hello, Rick. Have you thought of having 2 or more scoring committee review the same application? That way you can ensure the scorer will have, yes, we will, if I didn't make that clear, every application will be scored at least 3 times. So there's that. So it would be nice if we had even more than 3, but we've had at least 3. So we have kind of a quorum, you know, so we have an odd number of people. And so what I do is I put everybody's score on one sheet of paper, and I have what I call, you know, a standard deviation. If there's a score that's higher than like 2 points, I flag that, and then we talk about it with those 3 people that scored the sheet. We try to get everybody scoring, the 3 people scoring the same ones, but sometimes it's a little hard because people recusing themselves. But that makes it a lot easier for discussing. And what we end up doing, if we look and we pull up an application, and I'll just say, you know, let's say we have an application for Lebanon School District, and the first 3 categories are within that 2 points of standard deviation. I don't have to worry about it. But if it's different, if it's a big swing, like top score is 15 points, bottom score is 1 point, and we've had people that have done that. You know, we've like had somebody on the same question score 15 points and somebody else score 1 point. So then that's what the meeting is about. We'll ask, you know, okay, why did you score it high and why did you score it low? And we've had people hold their ground. We've had people say, well, based on this, I decided that I'm staying by my number or whatever. But at least we address it and we go forward. But and we've had people that say, you're right, I didn't think about this, I'm going to change my score or whatever. So we'll come to a consensus as a group, the 3 scorers and myself, and if there's any wonky scores that have a wide range. So yeah, that was the only question that I had that was technical right now. So does anybody else have any questions? We've gone about 25 minutes. It shouldn't be too difficult. When you guys get the applications and everything, it will make a lot more sense because you'll actually be able to look at everything. If you guys want to look at the applications right now, they're on the website. If you go to the ODE Farm to School website and click on the grant link at the top and then go over to the right-hand side, there's the round 2 materials. Or if you can just Google Oregon Farm to School grant, you'll get there. You can look at the score sheets, or not the score sheets, you'll look at the applications rather and everything, and things will make a little bit more sense. But once you get them, it shouldn't, and after you've done 1 score sheet, it goes pretty quickly. But again, I'd like you guys to do them electronically and send them back to me rather than handwritten, pretty please. We've had some problems, like, you know, we have some corrupt files and things, and, you know, but since we're meeting virtually, it's not going to be as rushed to try to get everybody together, and there's no driving. We can't do that anyway legally these days. So, yeah. Okay, link. Okay, so hang on just a second. So I just sent a link to the Oregon Farm to School website. So it's a bit.ly shortener, so it's ORF2S. You click on that, and then the top link is the grant. You can click on the grant link, and then that is where the website is. So you can do that. Okay, any other questions? Oh, okay, here we go. Thank you. Hey, Liana, we miss you. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. I think I now just need to jump into the process and see if they have any questions as we move forward. Okay, I think that sounds good too. Right now, I think it's just business as normal. People are still filling out everything. So this is looking good. And I'm going to save this and I'm going to send it out to everybody. And I will talk to you mostly through emails and stuff from here on out. Thanks everybody very much for joining, and I'm going to sign off now. Once I figure out how to stop recording.